Assalamu alaikum, it's 8:30. We're live from the studios of British Muslim TV here in Wakefield with this week's edition of Questions with me, of course, Mohammed Shafiq. We're broadcasting Sky Channel 752 and across social media at the handle British Muslim TV. Wherever you are joining us from around the world, a very warm welcome. Now, we want you to comment on the big stories we're covering on the programme tonight. You can call us now on 01924 231 083. You can also message us on the WhatsApp number, which is on the screen now. And if you're watching on Facebook, post your comments in the chat box. I'll read some of them on air later. Now, shortly, I head to Dewsbury to talk to the boxer Amar Akbar about his career and his plans for the future as he wins his 2 professional fights. 100% start to his professional career. He's been tipped by many as a national champion to watch out in future. We'll have a good chat with him about his career and future. We then feature the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan protest in Pakistan. You may have seen this over the last few weeks. Protesters who are claiming that they are protesting in defense of the honor of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Imran Khan government claims they're extremists who are hijacking the issue of the honor of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for political benefits. Now, what is the truth? Journalist Hamid Almashriqi from Manchester and political commentator Arif Bhatti joins us live from Germany to discuss. We want to hear from you tonight. You can call us on 01924 231 083 or messages on British Muslim TV across social media. Just to update you, the weekend, those 2 parties, the government of Pakistan, Imran Khan's government, and the TLP leaders reached an agreement that has not yet, as we speak, been published. We'll see if we can find out what's in that agreement and why you would declare a group to be a terrorist entity and then you negotiate with them and withdraw all cases of terrorism against them. Anyway, that's the topic. I know lots of you want to hear us this debate and discussion. We'll be talking it and we'll be bringing it live to you here on British Muslim TV. As I said, alternatively, you can send us a WhatsApp message anonymously if you want. The number is on the screen. Now, the questions we're considering tonight: how can boxing be used to inspire young people and get kids off the street? Did the Pakistan government make a mistake in its dealing with the TLP in Pakistan? And with the pressures on the Imran Khan government, will he see out his full term? He's passed his 3 years. He's got 2 years. Do you think he'll last? Will he become the first Prime Minister in the history of Pakistan to serve a full 5-year term? That's what we'll be talking about. Please share your thoughts now on 01924 231 083 or messages on WhatsApp or post on social media, and we'll read some of your comments throughout the program. Okay, so let's get started on our first story. Ever since the likes of Amir Khan, Anthony Joshua achieved success in the Olympics and became professional boxers, so many young people from BAME communities have been inspired to become boxers and represent their country. Dewsbury boxer Amar Akbar has been labelled highly rated by commentators and has won his first 2 professional fights. His latest fight was won on points against Liam Richards. Amar Akbar is a 21-year-old boxer from Dewsbury in West Yorkshire who is signed up by Queensbury Promotions and is one of UK's top promoters in Frank Warren. So Frank Warren is one of the top promoters of the UK and he is championing Amar. I'm pleased to say Amar Akbar is live on British Muslim TV from just up the road here in Wakefield. He's joining us from Dewsbury. Amar, assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to the programme, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing? You right?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Have you recovered?
Yeah, I'm good. I've just got back into training like this week now. So yeah, just getting back into it now.
First of all, congratulations on your recent win. It's 2 out of 2. You've won your first 2 professional fights. How does it feel to win both fights and do so strongly?
Thank you. Yeah, it feels good. Obviously, winning it feels really good. But I know the hard work that I put into this sport. So obviously, the aim is just to go in there and just win. And alhamdulillah, right now is going well. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know we're still in the midst of a pandemic. How did training for you change? Because lots of people who I've had on my program, their lives changed between once the pandemic started. How was it for a boxer and how did you do your training?
For me, I was an amateur when the pandemic hit. And then we got a call from someone asking us if we wanted to turn pro with Frank Warren. And for me, it was a no-brainer really to turn pro. There wasn't much going on in the amateur scene, so and plus I'd won really everything in the amateurs, and I just wanted something new. So yeah, it come at the right time. And for training wise, me and my dad, we've got a little gym downstairs in the house, so we were just taking over and training in there.
Yeah, and just kind of do the best you could in the circumstances, because that's a life-changing, being successful in the amateur field, but to make the transition, as we saw at the top of the program, Amir Khan did it, Anthony Joshua's done it, Anthony Ogogo's done it, lots of successful boxers have done it. It was quite a life-changing decision for you.
Yeah, definitely. For me, the end goal was always to turn pro and box as a professional. So whatever I did as an amateur, I was always going to end up being a professional and trying to, inshallah, get to the top in professional ranks. And yeah, for me, I think it come at the right time. I won the last tournament I did with the seniors, and then I had a GB assessment for Great Britain. But as soon as this call come, it was just right to just turn over as a professional.
And so let's just go back a bit. Where did the interest in boxing come from? You're from your father, obviously, trainer, but is that where your interest came?
We've always been into like combat sports, mixed martial arts, boxing. My dad obviously was a coach. He taught me and my brother like from young, like just basics. As I got older, I got into more MMA than I did boxing. So I was doing more MMA than boxing. And then my dad just asked me like which one do you want to do, and I just stuck with boxing, and I'm happy with the choice because alhamdulillah I'm doing really well in boxing.
And when you look at the world of boxing, I'm a big boxing fan. Sorry, I generally look at Muhammad Ali, Prince Naseem, Anthony Joshua, Amir Khan. When you look at the world of boxing, being a professional boxer now, who are your role models? Who do you look to and think, wow, I want to reach that level?
Boxing wise, I think the best around boxing was Floyd Mayweather. I think is the number one for me. But role model wise, it's not a boxer. I've always said Khabib. He's a UFC fighter. I've always looked up to him. Just how humble he is, how he follows his religion, and just the character he portrays. Like he's just humble, and that's how I'd want to be. Like, inshallah, if we get to the top.
Yeah, and it's as we were saying, it's a very disciplined sport. How do you maintain that professionalism? Because young lad, 21, wants to live his life, wants to be out and about, doing the things what 21-year-olds do, and you don't do that. You have to be quite disciplined.
Yeah, definitely. I just set little targets. I know what I want. I know what I want to do in this sport. And it's not going to come easy. And I've got a good family around me. I've got good people around me. They know, they keep me grounded, and yeah, just staying humble, keeping my feet on the ground, and just taking one step at a time. Yeah, just that's it. Working hard.
Yeah, and you have to sacrifice. I was talking to a Paralympian only a few weeks ago, and he was saying he had to sacrifice family weddings, funerals, family occasions. Is that something that you are having to do as well?
Yeah, definitely. You got, it's basically, you're like a robot really. It's just like a cycle. You just dieting. It's the same stuff every day. Dieting, training, sleeping. Dieting, training, sleeping. That's just how life of a boxer. Obviously, when you don't have a fight coming up, it's a little bit easier. But when you're getting ready for a fight, it's just yeah, it's just hard. But it's got to be done, hasn't it? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and how are you finding? That you talked about your dad and your family, but what about the wider family, your mom and everybody else?
Yeah, definitely. My mom's a big supporter. She like, my dad helps me with my training. My brother helps me with my training, and my mom, she does the behind the scenes, like the food, the nutrition. Yeah, so we're all like, when I'm fighting and stuff, she's always on my case and all. My dad's on my case, so yeah. It's good it's humbling and all, like, and like not many people have that, and yeah, it's amazing. Like my mom and dad, my brother, like they all take care of me. They take me to the gym and everything. Yeah, so everything's looked after.
Do you know when Amir Khan started his boxing career, he often talked about his mother not able to watch the fights. Auntie Joshua says the same. Did you experience that? The mother being a mother?
Yeah. My mum, she still can't watch my fights, even when she's known I've won. Like 2 weeks after, if we're watching the fight back, she still can't watch the fights.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just like how mums are.
Yeah. And as I said, the support has been absolutely key for you to be successful and do what you do.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like everyone around this area, Dewsbury, Bradford, Leeds. Like I've got a lot of people who come down. Like my last fight was in Birmingham. 2 hours is about 2 hours from where we're at, Dewsbury, and there was about 300. I think just a bit over 300 people that come down to watch me. So yeah, I've got a massive crowd, and just big thank you to everyone that just comes to support me.
And how does it feel like to walk around Dewsbury and to see that support that you get from the wider community?
Yeah, it's good. But I don't really to get into all that kind of stuff. I just try to keep my feet on the ground and just keep working. And yeah, obviously, like now my name's kind of going out there in Dewsbury and stuff. But I just keep focused on my boxing.
Yeah. Well, I know you're going to stay with us. We're just going to take a very quick break, Amar. But if anybody wants to ask Amar a question, you can ring us now on 01924 231 lots going on in the news, obviously, with the COP26 climate change conference happening in Glasgow. World leaders certainly were speaking at that conference over the last 48 hours. They've now left, and it's up to the negotiators to get that negotiation. And we have just seen tonight, breaking story in terms of the racism row at Yorkshire Cricket Club. Ex-England captain Gary Balance says he regrets using a racial slur against Azim Rafiq during the time together at Yorkshire. We'll talk a bit about that after the break. We'll take a very quick break. We'll go back to Dewsbury and talk to Amar Akbar about the issues of young people and boxing. Join us on the other side of these very important messages. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Questions with me, Mohammed Shafiq, exclusively here on British Muslim TV. We're live from our studios, as I said, here in Wakefield. We'll be taking your calls now on 01924 231 083. You get in touch with us on social media, British Muslim TV. Just before we go back to Amar Akbar, I was talking to you just before the break. Gary Balance is the ex-England international who's now admitted he was the one who'd be using racial slurs against former Yorkshire teammate Azim Rafiq. He said he was responsible for some of the offensive terms Rafiq was subjected to during his time at Headingley. He said, and this is the exact quote, which is causing lots of anger on social media. He says, it has been reported that I used a racial slur, and as I told the Independent Inquiry, I accept that I did so, and I regret doing so. To be clear, I deeply regret some of the language I used in my younger years. So, big debate around that. Balance, you obviously played 23 test matches for England. Okay, well, I mean, obviously lots more to follow on that story as well. We are trying to get Azim Rafiq. He's obviously in the middle of this big media storm. He is going to be one of my guests in the future show. We just need to allow him the space to do what he is doing in terms of this massive campaign to tackle racism. And it happens as a number of sponsorship deals have fell through, because of this ongoing racism now. As I said, Amar Akbar is my special guest, and we're focusing on his career as a boxer. Thank you so much for bearing with us there, Amar. Now, you've had a highly decorated amateur boxing career. You've won 2 national championships. Why did you make the transition? Because you're right, you peak as an amateur, and yet you're starting fresh as a professional.
For me, when I was an amateur, I always I had a pro style, so I was always sparring pros. I was doing well with them. So the end goal was obviously to turn pro, and then obviously the COVID hit. But what happened? I went into the elite championships. I got to the finals. I lost out in the finals, and then I got a Great Britain assessment. So the aim was to try get on Great Britain team. But yeah, then when the contract come, I just thought there's no point waiting around. I'll turn pro and then slowly just progress in the professional ranks.
Yeah. And I mean, to have Frank Warren champion your corner, that must feel good.
Yeah, definitely. Like Frank's, he's been around the game years. Oh, yeah, definitely. The experience is he promoted the likes of Naseem Hamed, Amir Khan, just a lot of champions. He knows how to make champions and all, promoting wise and managing wise. So yeah, it was humbling. I was amazed like when I actually got the contract. At first I thought it was a joke, like I didn't even believe it getting the contract, but when I actually signed, yeah, it was overwhelming.
Because he's generally, I was watching something yesterday, he was genuinely moved to really tip you as a future champion. And that takes a lot from a man of his caliber and his experience and credibility.
Yeah, definitely. His experience, he's been around the game, and yeah, it's all hard work, like all the hard work my dad's put in me over the years. I started off with him like from young, as an amateur. We won everything together. And yeah, trying to do it all in the pro game.
Yeah. And let's just talk about that recent fight against Liam Richards. Tell us about your strategy. What was the strategy when you went into that fight to take him on and beat him?
Now I've moved gyms now. I'm training in Manchester now with a coach called Pat Barrett. He's been around the game for a long time. He's experienced. So for this camp, I moved there. So I was just it was more of just boxing and not not rushing my work. I was just like more of just trying to box, be smart, not get hit with anything clean, and yeah, win dominantly. And I think I done that. Yeah.
Yeah, because as I've said at the top of the program, Ahmed, commentators said it was a dominant performance from you. What do you need to do to improve and get better and better still?
Definitely, I'm still young in the game. I'm 21 years old. And just take everything like from my coaches, my dad, everything they say to me, take it in, and then take one fight at a time, not rush anything. And then, inshallah, like, when the titles come, I'll be more than ready for them. And
do you get a chance to breathe? Get a chance to celebrate and reflect on your victories, or is it just go, go, go? No, I always have like a week off. I'll have like a week off and then I'll ease back into training. So now I'm fully back in the gym now. Yeah, because that's really important. Because I don't know. I've just got friends who are professional sports people, and they don't often get the chance to pause, reflect, and celebrate their achievements. But you make sure that you do. Definitely, yeah. Like with us, like when I'm in camp, it's just training. It's just eat, sleep, training. So you just put your body through hell, really, if that's the word. You just put your body through hell, and then you get to the fight, you box, and then I always try and have a week off to just like refresh my brain, just relax, chill out, don't think about boxing, and then the week after, I'm straight back on it again. Because in essence, there's thousands of young people watching this, Muslims, BME community kids who are really into boxing. What's your advice to them, how they can be better and do what you're doing? Just work hard. Just work hard, listen to your coaches, and yeah, that's about it really. And just stay humble. Inshallah, like one day you'll make it. Like even me, for me, I've not made it yet. And even inshallah, when I do make it, I wanna just be humble, like feet on the ground, like Khabib, like a role model. What a role model he was and still is. Yeah, and just tell me, about your dad. Because your dad's been quite instrumental in your success. Tell us about him. Yeah, definitely. My dad started us off coaching when we were young, not just boxing, in mixed martial arts and all. And then he opened a gym in Dewsbury called Warrior Breed Boxing Gym. We started off there. And from amateurs, he's trained me all my life. So everything I've won is down to him. So he's taught me everything, all the national titles, all Yorkshire titles, everything is down to him. Even at home, it's never like
He's always telling me to, like, when we've got a fight, he's always telling me, "Oh, do this, like, work this with the kid I'm fighting and stuff like that." And it's always, yeah, it's come off. So he plays a big role in my life.
Yeah. And what do you do to relax?
I'm kind of a relaxed guy anyway. Like, I'll say I'm a boring guy. Like, don't really do much. I'll play a bit of like PlayStation. I'll go out to eat when I'm not in camp. I'll go out to eat for a bit, and that's about it. See my mates. But yeah, that's about it. Don't really do much.
Yeah. And that instrumental in terms of your friends and your community actually having that pride.
Yeah, definitely. I've always kept I've always kept small amount, like close mates. I've not really, even though from amateurs to pro, I've still got the same mates, and they know my lifestyle now. When I'm in camp, I don't go out, and they know when I'm dieting to not like tell me to come out and eat and stuff like that. But yeah, I have my fun. Like, I'll eat when after my fights and that. I'll see my mates a lot. But once I'm in camp, it's switched off for me. All I do is just boxing.
Yeah, you sort of live, sleep, eat boxing then.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the only way to get to the top. If you're cheating your lifestyle, then you're gonna get found out in it. Especially in boxing, it's not something you can play. You get me, as a sport. So
yeah. And then when you look at, you talked about boxers that have inspired you, but if you look at Anthony Joshua's recent fight, do you look at it in a different lens than what I would do as a fan, as a professional boxer yourself? What did you make of his recent fight? And do you think he's still got a future in boxing?
For me, I think he just fought. I just thought he fought the wrong game plan against Usyk. For me, I thought he was gonna just like kind of use his strength to tire Usyk out and just beat him like that. But he chose to box with a guy who won everything as an amateur. He was an Olympian. He won 2 gold medals. But I think they're gonna get a rematch on. And if I was his coach, I'd say to him, use your strength, Muslim, like stuff like that. But yeah, as a boxer, I always look at like, oh, how he could have beat him and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, as a casual, they just like I don't think they'll go in that detail, if you get me.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then we're always learning. Like, I'm always, whoever's fighting, I'll always see, oh, he done this wrong, he done that right, stuff like that. Yeah.
And then do you obviously get to watch back your fights and see where you can improve, how you can improve tactics?
Yeah, definitely. I've watched my fight about 4 times now, 4 or 5 times. I watched it back, and straight away I know what improvements I need to make. So yeah.
Yeah, and then we're coming towards the end of the program. You've been a great guest, so thank you for bearing with us. Just tell us, how does it feel like to be a role model to lots of young people in Dewsbury, and hopefully, inshallah, as you get more well known across the country?
Yeah.
How important is that fact that you will be a role model?
Out of Dewsbury, there wasn't many who were into boxing who made it to, like, with a promoter or manager like Frank Warren. I was one of the first ones to do it, the first one to do it. And yeah, like I get kids messaging me saying, "Oh, how do we make ourselves better? How do we get more fitter to do longer rounds?" And I've got time for everyone. Like, at one point I was in that position when I was younger, trying to ask professionals how to get better and stuff like that. So yeah, I've got time for everyone in Dewsbury and around England, even around the world. I get messages. So yeah.
Keep going. Final question, sir. What can we expect from you in the future? What's the game plan? Or are you just taking one step at a time?
The plan is take one step at a time, and then inshallah keep winning, and then titles, and then inshallah you'll see me one day fight for the world title.
Inshallah. Well, thank you so much for being my guest. Look forward to you. My best wishes to you and your father and the rest of the family. Look forward to coming to a future fight, inshallah.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. That was Amar Akbar, the Dewsbury young boxer who's being billed by commentators, people who are professionals, who know these industry. I'm just a mere fan of boxing, but they've said he's got a really bright future and he keeps his head down and continues to do what sounds like a very responsible and mature Amar Akbar, but credit to his family as well. What we will do after the break, we will be having a discussion about the Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan. This is the movement that was set up by Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi, who died last November. We'll talk about his protest, what impact will it have on Pakistan politics and the government, and a wider issue about how you honour and respect the honour of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We'll join that discussion after the break. Don't go anywhere. Some important messages. Then we'll have these discussions for the next whole hour. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Questions with me, Mohammed Shafiq, exclusively here on British Muslim TV. Now, we're taking your calls on a very important topic, which is dominated discussions, not just in Pakistan, but across the world. On 01924 231 083 is our number. Our lines are open. We can take your questions and your comments, but also you can get in touch with us on our social media handle at British Muslim TV. But also, we have the WhatsApp number, which you can send us a message. And if you want to keep anonymous, you can certainly do that. Now, for Muslims in Pakistan and around the world, the honour and the status of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the most important part of one's own life and faith. Loving and respecting the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is part of our iman. In Pakistan, the religious group Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, known as TLP, burst on the scene in 2017 under the leadership of Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi. And they led street protests when they accused the Nawaz Sharif government of trying to remove Khatm-e-Nabuwwat oath in the constitution. Their founder, Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi, died in November last year, and his son, Saad Rizvi, took on the leadership of the group. He was arrested and detained in April, and protests started again as the Imran Khan government accused the group of being a terrorist entity and refused to release him. Now, what is the truth about the TLP and their aims? How are the government engaging these groups, and what is really happening? We spend the next hour focused solely on this issue with my special guest. Pakistan government, the Imran Khan government, described the TLP as terrorist organizations, but then negotiated with them through the leadership of Mufti Munibur Rahman, who was the former chair of the Moon Sighting Committee at the weekend, in which a deal was reached. Over 1,000 TLP supporters and protesters who were arrested and detained have been released, and there are early signs that the Pakistani government will not oppose the release of Saad Rizvi, the group's current leader. So how can you engage an organization which you deem a terrorist group? And now that you have a deal, that they're free to continue their political campaigns. As I said, Hamid Almashriqi is a leading Pakistan journalist and broadcaster based here in the UK, in Manchester, and broadcasting around the world. Hamid, we'll start with you. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, Muhammad. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're always busy. Mashallah, you're very active. And alhamdulillah, thank you so much. First of all, just set the scene about TLP. Who are the TLP and what is their ultimate aim in Pakistan politics?
It's very clear that when, as you described about Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi, before Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi, this Tehreek-e-Labbaik was chair or was run by another Maulana Ashraf Jalali, and then they had some dispute, and the Tehreek-e-Labbaik, this group became more famous and more powerful under the leadership of Khadim Hussain Rizvi Sahab. The thing is that, this is their slogan of Tehreek-e-Labbaik, is the heartbeat of the Muslims around the world, and especially in Pakistan. As Muhammad, you know that Pakistan is the only country who's came in existence with the name and slogan of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam means that there is no one but God, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the last prophet and messenger of Allah. So this is the only country on the planet Earth who is existing on the name of Allah and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So everybody is very much emotional and attached to the respect and honor of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the thing is very clear that when it comes to the respect and honor, and when unfortunately in Western world we have seen incidents of blasphemy, and there was protest around the world, but when it comes to Pakistan, I mean, people are extremely emotional about it. Now, Maulana Khadim Hussain Rizvi's stand was that the government has to take extra measures against the Western world to stop blasphemies, any further incident happening. But the thing
but he's been accused. Allama Khadim, I don't really want to talk about him because he's obviously passed away. But his organisation has been accused of peddling hate and advocating violence towards the French ambassador, French government, and Western nations that partake in these cartoons. What's your response to that?
Definitely, that is where the critical point comes. That when any organization try to become, empower or over the state or the writ of the state and challenges the state, that is wrong. Because what happened is that, I mean, people were supporting that, but no government or no, state can allow any organization to challenge the writ of the state, to challenge the laws of the country, and to challenge the even what the basic human rights and basic Islamic laws as well. The thing is that as far as when it comes to that level, then government has to respond. The government has to resist. And this was the point when the government reached to the point that this organization is crossing the limits. And this is how it was ended as a terrorist organization.
I really want to explore this. And as I said, we've got the whole hour. And so I think we've got enough time to get this. If you want to join the discussion, 01924231083. We're waiting to connect with Arif Bhatti, who's a political commentator based in Germany. I don't know if you're there, Arif, as yet. Okay, we'll carry on with you, Hamid, until we sort out the sound. But Arif Bhatti is ready.
I can carry on with you.
We'll, I could say it all night and talk about Pakistan politics. It's fascinating, Pakistan politics. Just tell us, and so we talk about that was a stance of the government. Now, Fawad Chaudhry, who is the information minister in Pakistan, he's got a habit of talking on Twitter, and he's labelled this group as an extremist group. The government of Imran Khan has said it's a terrorist group and is involved in terrorism, locked up Saad Rizvi, the leader, locked up many of the other leaders, but then negotiated with, and I didn't realize you could negotiate with terrorists.
Well, very well point. I mean, that's very important point. But the thing is, as far as Fawad Chaudhry is concerned, sometimes his statements are a typical example of loyal than the king. And it does nothing but damaging the government itself. Because, I mean, if you will label something that this organization is funded by some other countries or anything like that, it means you are closing all the possibilities of dialogue or negotiation, which is the basic responsibility of every government, that they need to talk. I mean, if there is any kind of protest, I'm not talking about the current protest, if there is any agitation, any movement, any protest, then the governments are responsible to talk, not to escalate the
the sort of rhetoric.
Exactly.
The rhetoric. What do you make of them as a journalist, as a broadcaster yourself? What do you make of the Imran Khan's government attempt to play both sides? Do you know, like have a good cop, which is Muhammad Ali Khan, the parliamentary minister, or have the bad cop, which is Sheikh Rashid, Fawad Chaudhry? The sense of trying to play both sides here. Do you think that the government's been damaged by that role?
Yes, in the beginning, I think it was damaging. The reason is that it is a politics. You cannot play both sides. It is very risky game. And the good thing is, I should say that internally government gave both Sheikh Rashid and Fawad Chaudhry to keep them silent, not to be involved any further after those two initial statements. Otherwise, the things would have not been reached to any agreement. And on the other hand, the committee which was sent by government, based on Shah Mahmud Qureshi and Asad Kaisar and Muhammad Ali Khan, they were quite sensible people, and they have a much more experience to dialogue with on any stage or in any conditions. So I think, as for Sheikh Rashid and Fawad Chaudhry is concerned, they were not doing anything benefit to the government or the Tehreek-e-Labbaik. They were actually damaging the whole thing, and that's why I think government chose the right decision by not bringing them into the committee. On the other hand, I will tell you one thing, that as the responsible citizen and as the responsible government holder, government took the right stand, and government told clearly that there is no way that they can allow TLP or any organization to go to and seize the Islamabad city.
Yeah.
So I think they took the decision right in time, because it could have been too late.
But Imran Khan, the Prime Minister, is a leader of a political party, TLP, which did its own protest and closed down Islamabad only a few years ago when they were in opposition. So they do sound like they're hypocrites for protesting whilst in opposition, but now in government, they are trying to establish the writ of the government.
Absolutely right. As a broadcast journalist, I can't say one wrong, two. If one wrong was wrong and second wrong, I can't say it is right. That one was wrong. This one was wrong. Because I'll tell you one thing. What damages? It damages the economy of the country. It damages the system. It can derail the whole entire democracy in Pakistan, which is already very fragile. We know that there are they have to take very careful decisions. And I think Imran Khan is paying the price for that. What he did by 126 days sit-in in Islamabad, it is whenever there is any protest in Karachi or Peshawar or anywhere, this is the thing which they put on his face, that you have been, this is the one you've been doing, and we learn it from you. But I always believe that there is a way, there is for the Pakistan, there is not much margin for Pakistan to have any kind of protest or any kind of agitation at this point. This is Pakistan economy is recovering now after a 2-3 year of bad patch, COVID-19 and so many reasons. So I believe that every Pakistani who is loyal to the nation, loyal to the motherland, they should understand that this is the time to strengthen Pakistan. This is the time to strengthen Pakistan economy. Yeah. And I'll tell you, Shafiq, everybody from TLP, they all are very patriotic. They are absolutely patriotic. There is not a single 1% doubt about their patriotism. So it is always in benefit of the government to talk to them and not to put any doubts on their patriotism.
Yeah, but we've probably got a minute before the break, and just wanted to ask this question. The accusation against the TLP is they think they're the vanguard in terms of defending the honor of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, questioning, this is the accusation I want to put to you, questioning the iman or the belief or the love of government ministers or people in the state of Pakistan. Do you think that sort of sectarian, heavy-handed, extreme mindset is something the TLP will be known for?
Yes, it is a very extreme stance from the TLP, and to be honest, we 220 million Pakistanis, we all are, every Muslim Pakistani and every Muslim Pakistani who's living in Pakistan, I believe they have equally love for Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's honor, and me, you or anybody is willing to give our life for the honor of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But if anybody...
Hamid, just pause there. Sorry, I'm going to have to take a very quick break. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll carry on the conversation, and Arif Bhatti will be joining us just after these very important messages. Don't go anywhere. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Questions with me, Mohammed Shafiq. We're focusing on the TLP, Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, protest in Pakistan over the last 7 to 10 days. There was an agreement last weekend, which we'll talk about that agreement. But also, we want to hear your thoughts and your questions. So the lines are open, as I said, 01924231083, or also across social media. Now, Arif Bhatti is a leading political commentator based in Germany. He's joining us live as well. Arif Bhatti, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the program.
Alaikum Salam. Thank you so much for having me in your program.
First of all, let me ask you this question. What did you make of the ulama of the Brelvi school of thought, like Mufti Mujibur Rahman and many others, many of the shrines of Pakistan, their leaders were there, who stepped up and helped negotiate between the TLP and the government because there was violence on both sides over the last 10 days. TLP have been accused of killing and torturing police people.
Regarding your question, it's a very interesting question, and a lot of people is interesting to know about why is the big name of Brelvism, and it came in this to fix this. The reason is when the government is mishandling the case and trying to portray the image throughout the media that they are funded from India and they are running their trend from India, these kind of stuff. If you go through the Brelvism, the people who follow the Brelvism, they are very patriotic people, and they are the one who are behind this all the things when we make the country. So this is the reason they came in. Otherwise, all the things is go through the ministers, and this is the scenario which we have right now. It's a very simple. They are requesting to bring the applications or the legislation into the parliament and let them debate. Whatever is the decision from the parliament, we can accept.
Yeah, because can I ask you about that, Arif? The government were claiming, the Imran Khan government were claiming that the TLP was demanding that the French ambassador and the European Union ambassadors be expelled. But the Mufti Mujibur Rahman Saab said this week, didn't he, that actually that's not the truth. You just want the issue being debated in Parliament, addressed and voted on, and whatever decision the Pakistan National Assembly make, they would accept that. Do you think that was a deliberate attempt by the government of Imran Khan to muddy the waters?
No, I think this is not an agenda to expel the ambassador or close them any embassy or kick out anything. This is a very simple. We are a democratic country, and we are also a political party registered under Election Commission. This is a very simple stance to let them bring to the parliament and debate it. Whatever is the decision, we can accept. And the very interesting thing, the people sitting in a parliament, they are very well experienced. They know what is diplomatic relation. They know foreign relation. They know everything. Even in the current government is a PTI. 80% of the ministers and the people sitting in the government right now, they came from other parties. Still, they have experience, so they can choose it. Either they can exit or they can keep it. So I think this is the wrong perception, and this is completely wrong. Even you can go through the agreement between TLP and the government, and there's a Ministry of Interior signatures are there, a Minister of Religious Affairs are there, and this is third agreement. They will be broken out in a couple of months. So I think they have their right to protest, and they are this time, especially this time, if we talk about this protest, this is very, very, you can say is a decent way. First of all, they are protesting for more than 15 days on Lahore.
But we've seen, sir, sorry, Arif, we've seen 8 police officers murdered by the TLP, numerous examples of torture allegations being made against the TLP, and whilst the government have been accused of using violence against protesters as well, it's been violence on both sides. Do you accept that?
See, I can say one thing. Whoever is died from police side, whatever died from TLP side, both of them is Pakistani. Both of them is our own blood, okay?
So you accept that the TLP were responsible for the murder and killing of police officers?
There's not 8 police officers. First of all, there's not 8 police officers. First of all, there's not the right information go through the media. There's 2 police officers died when they just trying to exit from the Lahore, and later on we find them the wireless call is leaked from their own departments, and it's telecast on a couple of other channels as well. So when they start the shelling, and in the reaction of the shelling, when the people came in front, and instantly they're trying to move their vehicles, and through their own vehicles, they kill their own people, and they are innocent people, and they died.
But Arif, let's be honest, whatever the circumstances of that situation, the reality is that under your protest, there have been fear. There's been lots of anger amongst the ordinary people of Pakistan who've been affected by your protest. And the fact that if you're an honourable, decent political party, the TLP should be partaking in politics in the political arena, not doing protests that leads to the killing of innocent people?
No, first of all, when they started their march towards Islamabad, first of all, they already informed the government, I think more than 3 days ago. So government, this is political, this is a democratic right to protest for their own right. So they give them a deadline, but from the government side or from the police side, they are not give them permission to go through, but they already planned them. I think this is a misleading from the both from the police side. We can still condemn, but there are the CCTV footage, there are the things you can find the people. But when you have a mob, when you have a people in majority on the road, and when you are trying to stop them, I think these kind of things will be happening in everywhere in the world. So
you certainly accept that, sir. That I'm glad to hear that. What do you make of the fact that the Pakistan government have labelled the TLP as a terrorist organisation?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question?
I'm just going to say, what do you make of the fact that the Pakistani government have labelled the TLP as a terrorist organisation, comparing you to Al-Qaeda or ISIS or Daesh or the Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan? These terrorist groups, real terrorist groups, but you've also been mucked in with that. How does that make you feel?
Yes, this is very interesting situation. I think when they exit from the Lahore and when they reach one of the cities is a certain point is the Murid cave, when they stop them and they call them, come up, let's negotiate on the table. When they start the negotiation, they get in 2 days to fix whatever is the demand. They will fulfill it. But within 3 days, their ministers is blindly just giving statement. They are funded from India. They are the terrorists. I don't know why you are trying to give them this kind of statement unless you don't have valid proof and evidence. If you have something, let them bring to the media. Let them bring to the court. I will tell you one thing very interesting. When they arrest their leader is Saad Hussain Rizvi on 12th of April, I think 1:30 around from Lahore. After 3 days, they put them ban on entire party. Within 3 days, how you can find things and put them ban? And the interesting thing, after the 5 days, like 20th of April, they sit with them, they make another agreement. If they are banned organization, how you can sign the agreement with them?
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. That is something we really want to explore with you as well. I know you're staying with us for the whole program till the end. As I said, we will be focusing on this as well.
Yeah.
Hamid Almashriqi is always with us. We have callers through as well. 01924231083. Both gentlemen are here, so we'll take in your calls as well. Let's go to the lines. Let's go to line 1. Assalamu alaikum. You're live on British Muslim TV.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. What would you like to say? What's your question? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from London. I would just like to add up something. You asked a question that the chaos created by the TLP protesters, it wasn't the chaos created by the TLP protesters. It was the chaos created by the false news of the media, because there was a blackout of the media completely. They can't cover the protest as well. They were just showing the side of government side, and they were just only.
But the protesters were the reason why there was violence. The protesters are the reason why roads were shut down and life was made miserable for so many people in Pakistan. Do you accept that?
Most of the roads were shut down by the government itself. Islamabad was completely sealed by the government. When you will have an action, there will be a reaction.
Okay. So you blame the government for the violence?
Yeah. It's absolutely
not the TLP.
No, listen.
Because are they angels? I find it bizarre how you can defend the violence that we've seen on the streets of Lahore and Muridke. We've seen so many police officers injured. Violence being used by I'm sounding like you support them, by a group that you support, sir.
One of the journalists, he said that if they are the militants, they are having the ammunition, just allow the media to go over there and give them the live coverage, so that the people of the whole world can see whether they are militants, whether they are armed with the ammunition or anything.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that call. We've got loads of calls waiting, and I just want to say you're absolutely right. But the TLP, Hamid, are very good in terms of their social media presence and their ability to broadcast across the world, to the world, what they were doing. So there might have been Prima, I think it's the Ofcom of Pakistan, Prima, they put an order banning any broadcast of the protesters.
Yes, fine.
And so that myself, you would see that, but they were still active on social media. You saw the live broadcast from the protest sites.
Yeah, Shafiq, the thing is now, no matter whatever ban you put on any organization, the social media and the other platforms, there is no way that you can stop them. We have seen all organizations use that. But the thing is, I mean, I was listening to this call. I just have one question, that there is no way that any government or any state will put the, blockage or anything unless there are people on the road. So on the one hand, if they have this stance that there are thousands of people, then obviously you are right that people have no right to take the law in their hand. No, I always say that when it comes to social media, the problem with social media is the fake news and false news. I'll tell you, my PhD is in propaganda and false news for the purpose of narrative building. And this is what happens using the tools of social media. Any particular frame of mind or any ideology can try their best to build a certain narrative. And this is where it gets very dangerous, that if the narrative is against, no matter your cause is very just. I mean, there is no doubt about the cause. There is no question about the respect of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But if it will cross the red line of the laws of the land, and if it will cross the red lines and challenge the writ of the state, then the government have a right to stop them. I mean, I always say that what they call sense must prevail from the both ends. There has to be sense must prevail from the both ends. But this is what government did eventually by doing the dialogue.
Yeah, the dialogue, which we want to talk about after the break, how you got to the point where these terrorist group was negotiating with the Pakistan government and they've reached a secret deal and we don't know what's in the deal yet. We'll talk about that just after the break. We'll take some more of your calls. Keep tuned to British Muslim TV. John is on the other side of this. Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Questions with me, Mohammed Shafiq. We're talking about Pakistan and the TLP, Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan, which is a movement that was set up in 2017 by the late Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi to defend the honor of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And as Hamid said, this is something which is very beloved, not just to Pakistanis, but Muslims all around the world. And there's a question here come through, Hamid, to you first before I go to Arif. And it says, challenging the government is not challenging the writ of the state. The state and government are two separate entities. TLP have never challenged the writ of the state. They've challenged the government, and you need to make that differentiation. Let's take a call. Let's go to line 2. Assalamu alaikum. You're live on British Muslim TV.
Ji, walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes. What would you like to say?
Yeah, just on that question, basically, regarding first the definition. Number one, TLP is not a group. It's a political party which has been registered and which is recognized by the Election Commission of Pakistan. And it's not a group which you can put like the Jatha, which Fuad Chaudhry has been calling over their term. And also challenging the policy of the government is never challenging the reach of the state. The state and the government are two separate entities.
But when the TLP advocate violence and murder, when your former leader, can I just put this to you, sir? The former leader of the TLP, he's obviously passed away now, may Allah rest his soul, but he actually supported the killing of those that engaged in cartoons or those that dishonored the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
He always advocated the punishment according to the laws and Sharia Islam. He has never advocated taking the law into one's own hands.
So he spotted Tanveer Ahmed. Sorry, he spotted Tanveer Ahmed, the guy who went up to Scotland to kill somebody who claimed he was a prophet. That was somebody which he was glorified at the TLP protest.
Well, that's two separate issues. What we're talking about is what's happening here now regarding the protests in Pakistan at this moment in time.
Let me ask you one final question, Shuaib, because I know we've got lots of callers waiting. what do you make of the fact that the government had labelled the TLP a terrorist group when clearly it's not the same as Taliban? You can certainly argue that the TLP is extremist in its viewpoint or its approach, but it's not really a terrorist group the likes of ISIS or Al-Qaeda and TTP.
Well, the government doesn't know whether it's coming or going itself, because on the one hand, it said it's a banned group, and then they say...
It's not a banned group.
It's not a banned group.
Yeah.
Then,
we didn't ban them. Sheikh Rashid said, didn't he said on the weekend, he said, no, we've not banned them, when clearly they had banned them. So it's...
Yeah, and that's what the journalists asked him. They said, have you banned them or no? Yeah, but we have banned them. On the one hand, he said, we haven't banned them. And then the other thing is, you got another minister who's saying that he's equating them with the Al-Qaeda, etc., etc. But what I wanted to clear up was that there was a lot of misinformation being spread by the Pakistani media. It's a controlled media. The Pakistani media accepts that is under huge limitations by this current government compared to the government of General Pervez Musharraf. And that was the reason that one of the Pakistani's main TV channels, which was reporting accurately, unbiased from both sides, was showing that there was no violence being committed by TLP. And regarding what happened to the police officers, that was he had his plug pulled within a matter of hours.
Four police officers. Come on, you can't defend the violence. I mean, at least man up the violence. Thank you so much, Shoaib. I'm sorry I'm cutting you off there because we've got lots of callers waiting and I really want to go back to our guest. But the reality is that, yes, you can argue about the TLP approach, but the fact is the violence, the police officers were killed. Are you now saying the police officers killed themselves or somebody killed them that weren't the TLP? Arif, Bhatti, let me put that question to you, sir. The police officers that were killed seemingly were killed by TLP supporters or people who claimed that they were TLP supporters.
Look, as I told you, it's misleading from the government side. The reason is, I will tell you one thing is very important we have to understand. On the time of, I think, January of 2021, in this year, January, there is a new political move by joint venture of 11 political parties. It's called PDM. This is the peak of coronavirus, and the government is not allow anyone to be a gather someone because it's a restriction from the COVID-19. These all the parties comes together and doing their events in all over the country in different cities. Even they are challenging and not accepting the orders on state and law, but they are doing. But the reason is there's not aggression similar like TLP. If you go through another movements, like if the people are trying to put them ban on TLP, it's trying to terrorist group or something like that. They don't have a sleeper cells. They don't like active aggressions people like we have in MQM before. So it's completely a peaceful people. The problem is a perception created for these people, because these people is coming in the political. They are trying to be a part of political system in Pakistan, and this is the registered political party with their funding is completely clear. The problem is right now is the putting in a prescribed list. When they reach and access to the Islamabad High Court, the 5 notices served to the Ministry of Interior and federal the government as well that provide us the evidence.
Okay.
Why you
so I don't really want to get into this, because your party, the TLP, have already accepted that the 4 Pakistan policemen who were killed wrongly. You mourn them as martyrs. That's what your spokespeople have been saying over the last few days.
Look, they are martyred. I understand that, but still, the better way to let them make the committee or the people, they will do the investigate who's involved this, and they go through the certain process, and we can find them. And there are all the options are available, so we can find them.
Okay.
But the problem there.
Sorry,
yes.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, one more thing. There's a few more casualties through in the road accident. They put them in the in this. They're trying to attach with the protesters.
But let's also be fair to you to the TLP. There was lots of state-sponsored violence by the Punjab police towards the TLP. I've seen the videos. Everybody's seen the videos. Some appalling violence, Hamid Almashriqi, towards the TLP protesters who were advocating, whatever their political position, the right to protest in a democracy, as Pakistan claims it is, should allow them to protest. You've seen the videos, sir. I've seen the videos. Appalling level of violence towards the TLP.
No, there is no justification, and there is no there is no way that anybody will allow that. Even the government have no reason whatsoever to do any kind of brutality or violence with the civilians who are protesting. There is no doubt about it.
Okay.
But the point is, I mean, as you mentioned the question in the beginning, that why it is not a writ of challenging the writ of the state and it's challenging the government. The challenging, according to the basic definitions of democracy, the challenging of government finishes where your protest cross the limits of being peaceful. And Arif has given a rightly example of PDM. Yes, but there was no violence in it, and that's why it was challenging to the government, not challenging to the writ of the state. Only thing is, when anything when anybody is trying to take the law in his hand, when anyone is trying to challenge the the government and the policemen, and they are torturing them, it is not acceptable.
Okay.
While you're right, on the other hand, I mean, there was very much use of power from the government as well, which it should have not been happened. And there must be, yes, there must be a form of committee or an investigation neutrally by a judicial commission. That why?
Well, we've already we know. Sorry, Hamid. We know what happens with judicial commissions in Pakistan. The Model Town massacre, in which so many innocent people lost their lives at the Minhaj al-Quran. They're still waiting for justice so many years on. So we know what happens with that.
It has to be practiced at least.
Yeah, okay. Let's move on, because I really want to talk about the politics of this. Now, some claim that in the 2018 general election, the TLP took votes away from the Pakistan Muslim League Noon, Nawaz Sharif's party, which then helped Imran Khan come to power. Is this the reason why he is reluctant, or was reluctant, to pass the order to ban them as a political party?
No, I don't think so. Let me tell you, I mean, I believe that as a political party, TLP has a very bright future. If they remain themselves within the laws, they have much better future, rather than having a very extreme stand in any way, because it is a free country. It is a country running with a democracy. You cannot have a free stance where you can forcefully ask the government to take some action. Yeah. While on the other hand, I mean, if there is another political party comes and challenge in the political system, it will be healthy thing. It is a very good thing. Pakistan has been suffering from two-party rule for 35 years, and we didn't gain much out of it. Now, PTI could not perform up to the expectation. So if there is any more party come into it, any political party nationwide comes, people will welcome it, and it will strengthen the democracy. But again, only question is, let's think about the security of Pakistan. Let's think about the sovereignty of Pakistan. Let's think about the economy of Pakistan.
Can I, sorry to interrupt, I just want to take one more caller before the break. We've got a couple of minutes. Oh, the call has dropped. Okay, we'll come back. If you're trying to get in touch with us, 01924231083. We're talking about the TLP protest in Pakistan. We've got about 90 seconds. Arif, let me ask you this. There was a lot of campaign of disinformation towards the TLP by the government. There was a ban on the media reporting Prima, which is the organization that controls the media in Pakistan. What are your views now about whether this government will hold to its word in the agreement they signed at the weekend?
The current, you're talking about the current agreement which is signed right now?
Because you've had five protests, you've had 5 agreements, and every time you walk away, you pack up your bags, you go home, the government don't implement the agreement. What gives you confidence now that this government will implement this agreement?
Well, what I really understand right now, I think that the people is really they came in this negotiation. I think they took the responsibility and they are responsible. That's why the agreement right now is not in the public. I think the action speaks louder. and we've seen the progress. I will add you one thing very quickly regarding this, all the stuff, because if you look about other political parties, they give them allowed to do a protest, whatever it is. But this time TLP is trying to remove their impression, whatever is impression for they are doing the terrorism or these kind of stuff. But this time they give them
Arif, just stay there. Promise you. Sorry, we're going to go to our final break. When we come back, we'll take more of your calls on 01924231083. We're talking about the TLP protest in Pakistan. And after the break, we'll look to the future, the general election that's coming in Pakistan in 2 years' time. Join us on the other side of these very important messages. Don't go anywhere. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the final segment of our program. Where does time go? Very important topic. We're talking about the TLP protest in Pakistan. I'm sure this will be something that we might want to come back to in the weeks to come. Arif, let me ask you that question. What confidence have you got in a government that signs agreements but then doesn't implement them? What confidence are you that this time will be different?
See, as we already have experienced before, the government is doing the agreement and later on they will go behind the scene. But this time, as I told you, the people are in the negotiation, they are very well responsible. And the second, this time we've seen the actions as well. And right now, the protest is still in the city of Wazirabad, but not on the road, it's in a public park. So still they are waiting. Once the 50% things will be done, they will come back to their markers. And the things will be the later on when we go through the smooth way. Yeah. But I think the government should understand this time, this is a pure political power, and they are trying to utilize them in the upcoming election as well. Because if you go through a street power, no doubt, TLP also always have a strong street power. Before during the time of Allama Khadim Hussain Rizvi, the people thought now the Khadim Hussain is passed away, but now the power might be distributed into the couple of groups. As we've seen, when the leader gone, the party will be distributed in the group. But this time the still power is remain. Whenever they call them, the power will be come out. So the government and the state itself, they understand they have a power. Let them utilize for the better future of the country. But these people, one very important thing, they are very patriotic people. They are never ever talk against to the establishment. As we have a very experienced political party, if we name it VMLN right now, we've seen ever, they are directly targeting into front of the public to over the state departments, and even they name them the journals and in the front of public, which in the common public we respect them because they are our supreme departments.
Yeah, Arif, thank you for that, and I'm going to come to you in a second, Hamid. I just want to take a caller because we've got quite a few people who want to get in touch, so let's get through some of these calls as well. Assalamu alaikum, you're live on British Muslim TV.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, sir. What would you like to say?
I'm Yusuf from Laudar, Birmingham. Shafiq, you're doing a wonderful program, but these people should work together if they want to with Imran Khan or on their own, but issues like Kashmir and Palestine and Afghanistan, and also help people in Pakistan by building roads and look at electric and water and all that. But this is good if they want to work on their own, but they should work with Imran Khan in tackling the issue what's happening in Kashmir, and also getting people involved in the party by asking people, voters, and getting more members. And like here in this country, they do leaflets and that. But it's a good thing what they're thinking, but they need somebody strong to lead them on the right path. That's what I wanted to say.
You don't think Saad Rizvi is strong enough?
No, they need a stronger person because these people are a bit weak what they're saying.
Okay, thank you so much for your call there. Hamid, let me ask you this question. Has the Barelvi vote, which is Sunni, Sufi vote, if you want, whatever description you want to use, it's a massive vote of Pakistan, and has been overlooked for many years because of the division and the various different groups. Do you think in the next election they will be as significant as they were in the election in 2018?
To be honest, it depends how TLP, move forward in coming months. Because there is a lot of talk about the TLP's strategy. There is a lot of talk about other Muslim and Brelvi, organizations and movements. There are in Karachi. There is a very big Brelvi organization which take part in elections. There is another Brelvi organization in Punjab as well. So, I mean, in Pakistan, in political system, there is not much margin for the votes on the base of religion. Still, it is a politically oriented culture, and
But
people vote for the ideology. Yes,
but I
there
was
is
just
a
going to say
chance of damaging.
the TLP beat the People's Party, one of the most established political parties in Pakistan's history. They beat them in Sindh. They came third, and PPP came
Yeah,
fourth.
I agree. I agree with you. But the reason I'm saying that, let's see how TLP improves or establish itself in coming days, because doing again and again agreement is damaging the reputation of TLP as well. They need to form a proper strategy to achieve their goals. If they will keep doing that, in fact, it will not be good for them as well. I would say that they should come into mainstream politics, and it will be beneficial for them. No doubt they will get Brelvi vote as well. They will get even Deobandi votes. Anybody who has a respect and love for Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they can attract them. And 20 to 220 million people are with the same ideology. Only thing is that there has to be a mature political struggle from the TLP if they want to set up and survive in the political system. That is my advice, and that is what I can foresee in future as well. And it will be beneficial for PTI, because PTI is, President Imran Khan's government. It will not going to affect from this vote bank. Rather, PMLN and PPP will be more affected parties. So it will be good for our political culture that more parties should come in within the constitution. That's the whole point.
Thank you. Arif, Bhatti, let me ask you, apparently this deal that's not been published yet, so we just base it on the conversations journalists are having. The Reuters news agency has been talking to members of the TLP, and they've confirmed that you've agreed to give up street protests. Is that something which you see happening?
Regarding the protest, you mean?
Yeah, that you'll stop protesting and become a mature political party and engage.
Yes, it's a very interesting question. This time, actually, the problem is the media coverage is banned on TLP. This time, they give them almost 9 to 10 days. They are standing in Lahore in front of their markers, and they are trying to protest to release their leader, because almost 3 times the court give them the release orders, but they are not trying to release. And later on, when they convert them into the protest, still they give them a 3 days deadline. And this time, actually, we're not covering these kind of stuff. And let's move on another political way. Under the leadership of Saad Hussain Rizvi, in the February and March, they are trying to do, the membership form only in central Punjab. So within 3 weeks, they registered 2.3 million membership. They fill them. It's from the online and from the offline as well. So people are trying to merging them, because the PTI government is not deliver whatever they committed.
So the work for the 2023 general election starts now?
Yes, we already prepared. Look, before arrest Mr. Saad Rizvi, they already trying to establishing their party with international standard. They were just trying to implementing all the stuff. But later on, when they put them into lockup, you can understand without leadership how we can proceed. But still, they have a great power, and people are emerging with them.
Yeah, we never have enough time. We're coming towards the end of the program. We've got probably about 5 minutes. Hamid, can I ask you, what assessments do you make in your experience as a broadcaster in terms of the Imran Khan government? Do you think he will be the first Prime Minister in Pakistan's history to complete 5-year term?
To be honest, with my 25 years experience of journalism, I still can't predict it. But I really wish him the best, because it is for the betterment of the country. It is betterment of the democracy. The good thing is, for the last 3 terms in Pakistan, the election term has been completed. Yeah. Although there was a change of prime minister all 3 times, after 3 years, after 4 years, and after 3.5 years. But the good thing was the election was always held after 5 years, the term time. So we are expecting that as well. It is the basics of democracy, but still Pakistan is the country with full of wonders. One thing I will say, that we should all appreciate Prime Minister Imran Khan's efforts when he talked about blasphemy laws in United Nations General Assembly and everywhere. So I think we should give a credit to Imran Khan government that they are taking this matter on diplomatic level, European Union and on United Nations and internationally. And I think this is the right way to do it. Of course, TLP have the right to protest and everything, but with harmony and with understanding, with one goal, and that is to raise the respect of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu around the world. We all have this one objective. We all can stand and fight for that objective.
Arif, let me ask you, what does the TLP, you've got lots of votes last time, but you only got a couple of seats in the Sindh Assembly. What's your prediction about the next election? How do you think you'll do?
See, everything is front of you. As we've seen, a lot of political parties is trying to engaging us as well, internally and externally as well. As we've seen a couple of, I think 2 days, within these last from 2 days, we are seeing there's statements on the media and PTI itself trying to convince them to let them participate together. But what I really understand, people really looking at change, because the PMLN already served their 10 PPPO as well, and the PTI is the last hope. What we expect, being youth, we've seen the things will be changed. But when they start the government and they are trying to shuffling their minister here and there, but there's no big change. We really appreciate his effort in the United Nations regarding the blasphemy laws and all the stuff. We really appreciate, we appreciate their recent steps towards the Ashra Rahmat Lil Alamin, all the stuff. But the question itself, if you are trying to talk in front of UN 192 countries very bravely, then why you are not talk about in your own parliament where your ministry is agreed with the political party and signed with them, yes, we bring this resolution into the parliament and we let them debate. But why you are trying to do not? But let them speak about the political things. In TLP, no doubt they have a capability of leadership to lead the party, but the problem is right now the media coverage itself. But still, throughout the social media platform, if you can go through the Twitter and all the stuff, you will find them. And this is the only political party who break the record. Is 3.6 million tweets on their trends. Yeah. And especially youth, if you need the stats of the trends, we know that the age between 25 to 35, 60% people is going to merge with them.
Arif Bhatti there joining us live from Germany. Thank you so much for being my guest. I hope we can bring you back and spend the whole program, if you like, on this. But also Hamid Almashriqi, the broadcaster and journalist who seems to be on every platform. So we're honored to have you, sir. Keep safe, both of you. And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It is an honor. It is.
Thank you so much to both of you. We reached the end of our program, and I think it's important that we keep engaged. And one of the criticisms of the government has been that rhetoric hasn't been followed through. Common sense has prevailed, and the violence that we've seen on the streets, the police officers that were killed. There was violence towards the TLP. We have to accept that as well. And this is a way forward in which you engage in the political process. Thank you so much to all my guests. Thank you to all of you for watching. We'll be back same time next week, 8:30 next week. From me, Mohammed Shafiq, the whole team here at British Muslim TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening. And inshallah, keep yourself and your family safe. I'll see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.